Hey, everybody. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Here I am with Brooke this morning, and we're going to talk about VA school. We're going to talk about, she is a recent graduate. I've spent a lot of time with her. I think you showed up every time, every time for every Zoom study hall. And it's been such a pleasure to get to know you. So thank you for coming in and sharing your experience. And what I want to say is welcome comments. If you have questions for Brooke, questions for me, that would be awesome. So why don't we kick it off with you just telling us where you are and a little bit about your journey. You know, when we met, where were you in your VA journey?
Okay, well, my name is Brooke. I live in Henderson, Nevada, close to Las Vegas. We're finally getting out of the hot summer and into the nice mild fall. Before I came across you and the VA connection online, I had been working as an administrative assistant, receptionist, executive assistant, tons of jobs like that for about 15 years. And I found myself just in a place in my career where I really was just unhappy with where I was because I ended up in retail, really long story. And it just was not what I wanted to do. And so I just told my husband, I'm quitting. I'm just giving my notice because, I don't believe that we're meant to be so unhappy. So gave my notice. And within, I would say about 48 hours after I did that, a good friend of mine who I had spoken with years prior about doing virtual admin work for her, just out of the blue reached out to me. And she said, look, I've got a 3-month project. Are you still interested in doing this? And it was just like, well, of course, it was perfect timing. And I started doing it. It really gave me a feel for what it was going to be like. And not even halfway through it, I was just like, I need to do this full time. I need to do this full time. So that's when, I had come across a couple other people who were offering courses, and you're the one I just kept coming back to. And I loved what you had to offer. And even, just in the virtual connection group, there are so many good resources just in there. And so I had been following you and just participating a little bit. And then when the VA school came up, I was just super excited because they're just like, this will help me really have some structure as to where I can go from where I am right now and build my business.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. That's awesome. So what's happened since then? So VA school, you started it about 14 weeks ago and did all the things. So what does it look like now? What's shifted? What's changed?
Well, before I started VA school, I had 2 clients. And after VA school, I still just have the 2 clients, which is fine. But I'm getting busier with those clients. Mm-hmm. So one of them is a client from a long time ago who the payment process is very different from the debit card system. But my more current client is one who pays and buys the blocks of hours in advance, and we're going through those hours quicker now. Mm-hmm. And that's so, great. The more that I'm showing her that I can do for her, the more she's asking me to do for her. And so that's just a really good way that I've gained my momentum, and that's where I am right now. So
that's awesome. That is a big part of it. And there's a whole video in one of the modules about putting yourself on display. We talked about that a lot in the challenge and how to very subtly, without jumping up and down, let people know what you can do. In fact, even Kathy Brandt, she posted in the challenge Facebook group this week about that exact same thing where someone said, oh, you can do that? I was paying this person. I'll just have you do it. So there is something to that, being subtle and not salesy, but letting them know what else right. is up your sleeve or what you want to learn. Because a lot of times they're like, great, because once they know you, that's the whole thing, because it's the trust. You've gone over the bridge and they trust you. And now, really the sky's the limit. Definitely. Yeah. So what was the thing? So you signed up for VA school because you wanted to, make this a full-time business. What's the thing that you received that you were like, I didn't think I was going to get that? Like the thing that maybe surprised you about, the program or the course?
It's not any one thing, I guess, just how in depth in the modules and the lessons it goes, where it's just, even when somebody in the school would say something and you go, hey, that's a great idea. So you'd go create that. And it's just like, just the resources there that you can it's just like almost like what to expect when you're expecting a book. You can just, awesome. You figure it out and you're just like, wait a second, I know there has to be a resource in there, and there is. And there's so much. And I love that it wasn't, even though it was, X amount of weeks, you didn't have to finish at the end of it. You are working at your own pace. And for me, I like to go and I watch all the lessons in the modules, and then just to kind of know what to expect. And then now I'm working very much at my own pace to go back and take them again. And I just love that they're recorded, because when I've been working on bumping up my LinkedIn profile, I'm watching your video and I'm pausing it. And then I'm going over and I'm fixing what I want to fix. And I go watch 3-4 more minutes and just, do that. And so that just overall, all of those things.
That's good. That's awesome. Yeah. Because for me, so I had someone helping me. I was thinking about that this morning when I was getting dressed. I hired someone to help me step through my business. They knew how to run a business, because I had no idea. I had a job, and there's so much to it, like, so first there's where do you get clients, and then what the heck happens when you get them,
Right.
all of the onboarding, and how much do you charge and how do you raise your prices and all that.
Then all of your spreadsheets and the tools, that everything is just already there. That's just, there were, I forget what it's titled, but the one where, you enter in the numbers of what you want to make versus the hours you're going to work and everything. And it's all populated. And I remember watching that module and I'm just like, oh my God.
I know. I totally know. So I have to tell you the story behind that. So Greg, my husband, is a CPA, and he's like an Excel ninja. He's so funny. He doesn't think he is, but he is.
Yeah.
Very modest.
To me, everyone's an Excel ninja. So
right, exactly. So he works down, we have a walkout basement. I went down where he's doing his, virtual working. And I said, okay, here's the idea. People keep telling me that they're at their desk all day and they're not making any money. And I'm like, what the heck? So I want them to figure out how much, and then you say, well, how much are you charging? Oh, I charge $15 an hour. I'm like, no kidding.
Right.
So what he did was he created this Excel spreadsheet that I made it pretty. It was very, I don't know what, black and white, gray. And you put in how much you want to make, and then how many hours you want to work, and or not work, bill, how many hours you're going to want to bill. And it figures out, okay, well, how many weeks do you want to work in a year? And it just does all the math, and you can adjust it until you get to the magic number, because people will say, I want to work 20 hours a week. Okay, great. And I want to charge $30 an hour. Great. And I want to make $100,000. That does not compute, so It just shows you what you have to adjust. And I when he showed me that, I was like, oh my gosh. Yeah. And I thought and I made the video because I didn't want anyone to misunderstand it. I wanted them to really see it in action. So yeah, thanks for bringing that up. That's cool.
Yeah. I love that one.
Yeah. So tell me a little bit about your lifestyle, because you have lifestyle concerns, right? Taking care of your mom, right? And
well, I live away from my family, so no. But just juggling everyday life. I'm a writer. I write fiction. That's my escape from the everyday life. So it's very flexible for me. So on the days where I'm really creative and motivated to write, and I know I can work independently on other projects, and I can get to those once I've purged the creativity out of my brain. Because if I don't, then I'm just gonna, kind of be in my head all day. So that to me that's how it works in with my lifestyle, that allows me to still have that creative outlet, but still being able to stay on task and get these projects completed for the clients that I have.
Yeah. I had a brain bubble there. I was thinking about somebody else.
Oh, no
problem. Sorry about that. But I have noticed your fiction that I see you on social media. That's very exciting. That's fun. Yeah. It's, that's the thing about being a VA, is that it can all fit in. Like I was doing something last night, and I was then this morning, and then I'm doing this with you right now. And then I can just jump back in because no one's watching you. There's no one, you're not sitting outside of anyone's office anymore.
Yes.
So it just makes it a lot easier to fit it in. Nobody knows what you're doing. The last question really, unless there's something you want to add, is, what was your favorite thing about VA school? Or maybe it's even like, what is there something you miss now that we're done?
I do miss the study halls. Those were fun. I wasn't able to come to every single one of them, but I tried as much as I could. And, there were some, it's like, even if I wasn't camera ready, I just kept my camera off, and just because it's just was so much good information. And I guess what I really love about it is that everybody is in different time zones, just even from all over the world. So if something hits you at just some really strange hour, you just go into the group and you type out a question and somebody's going to have an answer. And if somebody doesn't get it to it right away, obviously other people see it along. And then we could propose a question to you in the study halls. So, and I loved that you got to every single one of us and, then made time to open the floor for other people to have questions. But yeah, just so many resources, and everybody is kind of on different paths and different steps of their career. And we all have different levels of experience, and there's no stupid question, and everybody is more than willing to help. And so the support really felt strong.
That's
so
good.
I really loved that about it.
That's awesome. I think, I was thinking today, I think that's the thing that I was so committed to putting that personal time in, because a lot of people who do online coaching or online programs, courses, they don't really do that, or they do it where it's an hour a week and it's in this format. And while this is a great format to deliver information out, this is StreamYard, it's live streaming. It's not a great way to have a relationship, with 20 people in the room. And so that's why we put it on Zoom. And because that's the whole thing. I've taken courses before, and I want to ask my question to the person who created the course, because even though they said it this way, I understand it this way, and I can't get to that next place. And so that's why we do it. It's actually my favorite part. I look forward to it. And we do the meetings on Tuesdays and Thursdays. So the week is really good because I look forward to it Tuesday, and then we do it Thursday. But Thursday to Tuesday is a really long time, and I miss it. I just miss that time because it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun to help everybody. Awesome.
Yeah. I loved it. So they were great.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much. I really appreciate you taking the time to tell everybody about your experience. And it's just great. I'm glad that you're continuing and we're still hanging out together. And that's awesome.
And if I can just add one more thing,
for
everybody, who's considering being in VA school or who has already signed up, but you're still kind of like, did I do the right thing? Yes, you did the right thing. And yes, if you're on the fence, you should totally do it. I just want to share real quickly. Financially, we weren't in a place to do it. It wasn't just like, oh, here you go. There's a check, take it. It was like, at first it was a little daunting for me, but, I was talking to my husband about it, and I said, look, I see our numbers. I know we actually have it. I know, that we have struggled, but I'm not wanting to spend this money on shoes, handbags, makeup, or jewelry. Don't get me wrong. I'd love to, but, this is spending money in order to build my business and organize my business. And we made it happen. So if you can make it happen, you should make it happen, because I didn't care if I had to eat ramen for a little while. It was just like, I needed to do this, and it was the best investment I ever made. So if anybody is on the fence out there, I would like testimonial from me. Reach out to me privately, even if you want to, and I will tell you my story. But huge step I took, and it was amazing. So
that's awesome. I do remember that. I remember you saying that you talked to your husband. Yeah. Yeah. That's awesome. And these are the people that have signed up so far since yesterday. I know, it's very exciting. I love putting them up, and I love when they have pictures, because, I feel like I start to connect, and I like that. It's it's awesome. So I'm very excited, and I'm excited to see who's going to join these lovely ladies today.
That's it. That is exciting. So congratulations to everyone who has signed up.
Thank you. All right. I will see you soon. Thank you so much, Brooke. I really appreciate it. Okay. Bye, everybody.